This is the trainer role in action. The AI was teaching me a skill using a real expert's material as the syllabus. As well as the trainer, I've also used AI as a data analyst, as a researcher, a coach, and a consultant. And I want to share those with you in this episode and how you can drive the AI to have it performing beyond author and editor for you. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I live and am recording today, the Durrumbal people, and pay my respect to elders past and present, for they hold a deep and continuing connection to the land, sea and sky. Welcome to Trailblazing Schools, the podcast for educational leaders at the intersection of leadership, complexity, and intelligent technology. I'm Trudy Graham. This is a space for leaders navigating uncharted territory. We explore strategic leadership, ethical innovation, and how AI can strengthen the deeply human work of education. Hey. If you're a school leader, how many hats are you wearing? Chances are you're an instructional leader, a data analyst, the counsellor, the HR department, the finance officer, and the person who unblocks the photocopier, probably all before first break. And the reason you wear so many hats is because nobody else was trained to do it, nobody else has time to do it, or there simply is no one else. The different thinking required in the job was one of the things that I loved as a principal. 1 minute you're creative and you're designing something, the next minute you're processing logically with timetables or problem solving. And then the next, it's using all your relational skills in dealing with people. But the cognitive demand is also exhausting. And the time constraints compound the problem. We also find, well, I certainly found, you're operating outside of your expertise on at least half of whatever comes across your desk every single day. And really, we just take it for granted. I look back on some of the things I've taught myself over the years. Excel spreadsheets, graphic design, basic web design and social media management, mediation skills. Never did get to do a course in that one and used it so much, right? And then there's the raft of different pedagogies and approaches that have emerged over the last 30 years. What if AI could pick up some of the load and play the role of an expert for you? Okay, and hear me out on this one. Today, I'm going to expand on my earlier episode, which I titled The 3 Phases of AI Adoption in Schools. And I talked about phase 1, which is AI as a productivity tool, and phase 2, AI as a thinking partner. Now, if you missed that episode, jump back in the archives and have a listen to that one. But I talk there about how most leaders, when they're starting out using AI, the large language models, they start with writing and editing things like emails and newsletters. They're using AI as an editor, and it's a natural starting point. In this episode, I want to share 5 roles that your large language model can play in supporting your work beyond author and editor. Okay, so let me take you back to the start of the year, New Year's Day actually, when I decided I wanted to start this podcast. Yeah, I have created a podcast previously, but it was more than 5 years ago. But at the start of the year, I needed to get something going fast. I had a lot to figure out and I didn't have time for a course, trial and error, making errors in getting this started to support my work from the get-go. So instead of Googling how to start a podcast and drowning in, generic advice and being led down numerous rabbit holes, I cut to the chase and I went to ChatGPT, as it turns out, and I started a conversation with it about my plans. I gave the large language model a high-profile expert in the field of podcasting and pointed it to their publicly available resources. A bit sneaky, I know. But in the flow of the conversation, I asked it to build me a 30-day action plan from what that expert had available publicly. And what it gave me was exactly that. I ended up with a very practical step-by-step series of actions that included that expert's their own podcast, specific episodes to listen to about podcasting. It gave me blogs that they had written that I could read. And it actually mapped out activities for me to complete. So it was all contextualized and it made sense, like a mini course to follow day by day. Quick actions, got momentum, kept me going. And it didn't stop with that plan. It actually, within the plan, created little mini goals for me, and it gave me focus areas that were specific to me and my situation. It was based on what I had, what I was missing, and it was unique to exactly what I was trying to build and the work I do. So what would have taken weeks of trial and error got compressed into a really structured month. That was January. We launched this podcast in February with an expert-like presence checking how I was going the whole way. This is the trainer role in action. The AI was teaching me a skill using a real expert's material as the syllabus. As well as the trainer, I've also used AI as a data analyst, as a researcher, a coach, and a consultant. And I want to share those with you in this episode. So let's dive into each of these roles and how you can drive the AI to have it performing beyond author and editor for you. Okay, let's start with data analyst. So if you'd like another set of eyes, so to speak, your large language model can be helpful. You're going to use the upload files option, which you'll find in the prompt bar of most large language models. And you use that to upload files in various formats. So it could be an Excel spreadsheet with data, CSV files. I've taken, CSV files on the back end of surveys and feedback and give that to my model. It could be screenshots of tables or graphs, and you're going to prompt the AI. I even use something as simple as, analyze this data, but it will actually find the patterns for you and report back. And of course, you can then have a conversation and ask it for more information. What are the successes? What are the gaps? What am I missing? But I do want to share a caveat here. De-identify anything sensitive first. So, make sure that you're not inadvertently giving the AI names of people or contact details within the data set. My early experience with the models also highlighted that calculations are not its strength. And when you understand how this technology works, that makes sense. It has got much better in this space, but I still particularly check its mathematical reasoning and findings. So, cross-checking always is something you need to do. But it's great to just get that different perspective. It may pick up things that you actually have missed or weren't aware of. Fantastic tool for data analysis. Across this podcast, you'll hear leaders navigating complexity with courage and clarity. If you'd like to see how that looks in practice, visit trailblazingschools.com/field notes. These field notes capture real stories from school leaders using AI as a thinking partner, strengthening leadership, not replacing it. It's free, practical, and designed to prompt your own next step. You'll find it at trailblazingschools.com/field notes. All right, next one, AI as a researcher. So here, turn on deep research mode, and you will find this in ChatGPT. It's also in Copilot and many of the other publicly available models. And this mode turns days and weeks of reading and research into minutes. And again, deep research is one of the options listed in the prompt bar. So you're going to prompt AI with your niche topic and let it do the digging that you'd never have time or the resources to do. This one is great for research on teaching topics, your school priority areas. Maybe you're looking for services or demographic information around your particular community, or you want or have a specific challenge that needs addressing, and you can get your AI to dig into that, using the deep research mode. I've used deep research to identify all the organisations in my local area, that's government, not-for-profits and businesses, that employ a high number of STEM professionals. Before AI, that task would have taken weeks or months to complete. In fact, I probably wouldn't have been able to pull it together myself, and I would never have had the time to do it. With AI, I had it in less than 10 minutes. It's amazing. Okay, third role, AI as a coach. And I love this one. You're going to switch on the voice mode. And again, look for the little speech icon in the prompt bar. And you're going to tell it plainly that it's acting as your leadership coach. And you're going to describe to it how you want it to support you through whatever it is you're working through. So it could be a tough conversation or a difficult decision. My hot tip here is to prompt the AI to ask you one question at a time, allowing you to answer the question before it moves on. That's what makes it feel like real coaching. And it is like having a natural conversation with a back and forth between you and the AI. Play with that one. A lot of fun and so surprising. It's all in how you set it up in the first instance and what role you give it. So tell it, I want you to act like a leadership coach. Okay, fourth role is the trainer one. And this is, where I started. Hand it a skill that you need to build or a concept that you want to master and point it at a real expert's material and let it build you a personalised plan, like my podcasting example. Now, 30 days may not suit you. Like, I completely understand the reality in schools, right? So you might want to work across a term, 50 days. Or what's probably even more realistic is, one task to execute a week. So you might go for, a 10-week plan with just one task that you could nail in an hour. Just ask the AI for whatever you want and what works for you. And I love that. You can tap into so much of the material that's publicly available online. And honestly, so many experts have content out there, but it's just not accessible because it's all over the place. And what the AI will do will be to structure it into a flow that makes sense step by step for you to consume and then to take action on whatever it is you're working on. Okay, and the last one, this is AI as a consultant. So for this one, I use what I call a reverse prompting technique, and we'll put this prompting template in the show notes. So you're going to prompt your large language model with something like this. You are an occupation, pop in an occupation, with high-level expertise in a particular task. What information do you need from me to create? Name the output. Here's an example. You are a workplace health and safety consultant with high-level expertise in education environments. What information do you need from me to complete a risk assessment? So you can see there I've substituted in the occupation, the task, and the output. This is reverse prompting because you give the AI the occupation, the task, and the output, and it tells you what it needs to execute on that. Then compile all the info and let it get to work. And again, you could use this for curriculum planning, school planning, PR work, finance, HR, facilities, like there's really no limits. This one is great if you're not sure what to prompt, or if you need to deliver on something that's a little bit outside your area of expertise, because it will guide you. Now, of course, across all of these 5 roles, the quality of what you get back absolutely depends on how clearly you tell the AI which role to play and the contextual information that you provide. So here's my question for you. Which of these 5 roles are you not using yet? And what's the one thing on your plate this week that one of these roles could actually help you with? And the next step, of course, there's a next step. I want you to pick just one and try it this week. If you're not sure where to start, go to the consultant template, that reverse prompting template in the show notes, because it's the lowest effort and it's the highest leverage, and it's a great one to try first. Like I said, particularly if you're new or uncertain with prompting, it's a great starting point. And AI does the work. You just give it the info. So it'll figure out what it needs from you, and you just give it all the information. So all those hats you're wearing, you're not going to stop wearing them because it becomes part of the job. But you don't have to do every one of them alone anymore. And you might actually get some of them executed more quickly and more efficiently, probably to a higher standard. You've got a tool that you're probably already using that you can treat as a data analyst, a researcher, a coach, a trainer, and a consultant. And hopefully this episode has unlocked that potential for you and you can start playing with the possibility. Until next week, take care. You've been listening to Trailblazing Schools with me, Trudy Graham. If this episode brought someone to mind, share it with them. You'll find further reflections, practical resources and leadership tools in the show notes. Until next time, lead with courage, seek clarity and keep trailblazing.